I'm very careful with how I say things from coaching people, and it may sound crazy. This may totally sound crazy, but it's true. Not only are these the three reasons, but they're also in order. Now, that's amazing. I'm telling you, I'm coaching thousands of people. That's a bold statement. Today's topic is the three reasons you aren't making more money. The three reasons you aren't making more money. There's three reasons. These are the reasons and the order. I can't say this enough. All right. But I'll stop. I'll stop it right there. All right. Three reasons you aren't making more money. And again, may sound crazy, but it's true. Number one, sabotage. That's reason number one. And it prevents, it is pre reason number two and reason number three, sabotage. Now, I do talk about this in my book, Faith Driven Wealth, but sabotage is reason number one, order number one, sabotage. If you aren't consistent, I guarantee you, I promise you, from coaching thousands of people, if you're not consistent and you're an entrepreneur, then it is because you have drawn the wrong conclusion to success based on observations you made as a kid. Yesterday I talked about the number one lie told about success. And a lot of times we're not told. A lot of times we're not told something that becomes the reason for our sabotage, but we observe. And so if you had, parents that worked really, really, really hard that never achieved their dreams or never achieved much, it's very likely that you have sabotage in you that says, well, they worked really hard and they're great people. They're better than me. Why should I ever accomplish my dreams? For some of you, you saw your parents make a bunch of money, lose it. And so you built in this subconscious program that, well, if I make a bunch of money, I'm going to lose it too. Or some of you had parents that were very well off, but never appreciated you. And you hated that feeling. And you don't want anyone to ever feel that again. So you think if you become rich, you're not going to appreciate people either. But that's not true. I talked about it yesterday. Money's a magnifier. It's not a dictator. Money doesn't force you to be something you don't want to be. It's a choice. You can choose to be loving, to be caring, to be attentive, to be present, to be appreciating of others, and you don't have to lose it. I mentioned this yesterday too, but I think it's applicable here. I sat with, had several hours with Russell Brunson this last weekend at a wedding in Boise, Idaho. And I was talking about, like, he's such an interesting cat. Like, he buys all these different estates. Like, he just bought the estate of Earl Nightingale. And he's bought all kinds of stuff from Napoleon Hill. And he dove deep into their stories, and he understands stuff that most people don't understand because he dug into their personal letters and things like that. And so, the thing with Napoleon Hill is he would leave the house for years. He would leave his family for years at a time, go build a business, make it super successful, and then it would just collapse. And so he was just, he just had this pattern until his last wife, who was highly organized. And later he was quoted as saying, the best mastermind you can possibly have is with your spouse. And I wish I knew that earlier. How powerful is that? And so he did end up dying very well off. But all throughout his life, it was up and down. It was, making it rain or crying. And so sabotage is the number one reason in the position that precedes all else. See, if you have sabotage, you can watch how to make money videos till you're blue in the face. It doesn't matter. I know that's a strong statement, but it doesn't matter. If you have sabotage in your bones, it doesn't matter how to do things you watch. Now, I know people who have sabotage, they don't know that they have sabotage. They're just like, why can't I be consistent? Why can't I push past this? Why can't I achieve what I want? They don't know that they have sabotage. But you can always tell sabotage by your patterns, not by what you think you know, because your subconscious, you can't tap into that unless you're doing some really, interesting things. And so sabotage, and you know that by your patterns. And again, I do talk some about that in Faith Driven Wealth. One of the chapters is 21 Reasons You're Broke, right? I dig into that. I give you a whole bunch of different examples and scenarios and things like that. But sabotage. See, everyone thinks if only I knew what to do, you can know what to do. And if you have sabotage, you ain't going to do it consistently. You're just not. Okay. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is you don't know your mantle. You don't know. Now, in the book, I actually call it your anointed brand. I think it's chapter 7, but you don't know your anointed brand. And so the anointed brand is, what is God blessing that if you only walked in that, it would be amazing. There's a certain type of person that you're called to serve and help. And usually, but I found not always, usually it's based on what you've been through. Usually it's based on, and honestly, it's almost always that thing that you're afraid to go into. It's that thing that you're afraid that you don't feel qualified for, or you don't feel like is the proper, thing. So what people will do is they'll look for what works. What's working right now? Oh, crypto. Oh, AI. Oh, millennials. Oh, Gen Z, right? They'll look for what works, but it won't work for them because there is a better calling that God has for you. And if you figure that out, his favor will be with you and just doors will fling wide open. It's finding out what is that thing. Now, most of the times, not always though. I used to think always, but not always. Most of the time, and I do talk a lot about that in the book. Most of the time, it is based on something you've been through, right? Help the person you used to be. If you've been through tough relationships, or you've lost weight, or you've been through trauma, or you've tried to succeed for a really long time and you finally have a breakthrough, you're typically called to help the person you used to be. And one fast way to figure out what's most likely your anointed brand is, what are you most scared to talk about? Because it's probably that, because behind that fear is your breakthrough. But that is reason number 2 in order. It precedes reason number 3. So reason number 1, sabotage. And so very rare for someone to be able to figure out their own sabotage. I do give a lot of examples in the book, in Faith Driven Wealth. And so you may be able to go through chapter 5, read the 21 reasons and see which one resonates with you. And then I would encourage you to get into prayer. If you find one that really resonates, get into prayer and ask God, is this it? God, will you, thank you for helping me heal around this. And so, that's one way. But almost always people are going to need someone outside of them to help them with that. I've helped thousands of people with their sabotage, of just pointing out, hey, it's because of your relationship with your mother. That's why you're not making money. And they're like, what are you talking about? Right. And then I'll tie it together for them. And they're like, God, you're right. Oh my God. And so sabotage, number 1, not knowing your mantle, not knowing your anointed brand. Number 2, number 3 is, with the sabotage gone and knowing your anointed brand, now what do you do? Now, I have located people who don't have, they've through whatever mechanisms, they've gotten rid of sabotage. They've figured out their brand, but they really don't know how to best scale that brand. And so reason number 3 is that you don't know what to do. Now, most people think not knowing what to do is the primary reason. It is not. Sabotage is the primary reason. It's sabotage. It's knowing your anointed brand, because if you just walk in that brand, things will be easy. I'll give you an example. I can give you 1,000 examples, and I do give a lot of examples in the book. We did a reality show called Play to Win, and people flew from all over the world, covered their own travel expenses to compete for either coaching with me or a job with Higdon Group, and a $5,000 prize. One of the contestants confided in me and said, hey, Ray, I've never shared this with anyone. I've never done a video. I've never done a speech. And she shared that she had been, very badly mistreated as a kid. She had been sexually trafficked, and she was trafficked by people that took her into a foster home, like just literally like the worst of the worst, like the worst you can possibly think of. That was her story. And she was, I don't know, I'm not good at ages, but I'm, I guess, late 40s, maybe a little older. I'm not good at that. And she had never shared it with anyone, her family, no one knew about this. And at first, of course, I hugged her and said, you didn't deserve that. I'm so sorry to hear that. And, but the second thing I said to her, I said, there's some people that could really get hope from your story. And if you're brave enough to share it, you could really help some people. And I say that to a lot of people. Most people don't do anything with it, but she did. She messaged me, I think it was like a month later, and she was like, hey, I'm doing my first speech at a abused women's shelter. I'm like, oh my God, congratulations. I was so proud. I'm like, wow, way to go. 6 months later, she messages me, and she was a speaker at the International Conference Against Human Trafficking, 19 countries, I think over 7,000 people tuned in. And she was one of the speakers for this international conference. I think it was put on by the Ohio State University. That's when you know you're just walking in God's favor. You're walking, because here's the thing. Now, I believe, if you've accepted Christ, you have God's favor wherever you go. But if you're walking down a path that isn't the path that is going to be the most awesome for you, would it make sense that a perfect father would really super bless that path? Like, let's say that you're currently a waitress, but you're supposed to be a teacher. All right. Do you think God would really bless you with amazingness as a waitress, and you would get incredible, tips and incredible love and mentorship and everything? No, because if that happened, then you would never question, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And if you notice, every time someone walks out of slavery, they go into the wilderness. Every time someone's about to have a breakthrough, they go into the wilderness. It was true, the Israelites, they, get out of slavery in Egypt, they go into the wilderness. Jesus gets baptized, goes into the wilderness, right? Before our breakthroughs, we often have breakdowns. We're often in the wilderness. We're in the confusion state. We're in this tough state where we're questioning God and all that stuff. And so, it's not just, Lord, bless what I'm doing. If he has a bigger plan for you, and he probably does, then you actually don't want him to bless it. It's like me, right? So the end of 2019, I had, generated, lots of money, generated over $30 million, had spoken on, pretty much every major stage, shared the stage with pretty much everyone that I wanted to. But something was missing and I didn't know what it was. And it drove me crazy. I'm like, man, something's missing. Like, what if I felt fully satisfied there? I never would have found Christ. It was because something was missing. It was because there was frustration. And anywhere there's frustration, that means there's an upgrade available. See, God doesn't give you confusion or frustration, but when we experience confusion or frustration, that is a clue that God has a bigger plan for us. That is a clue that God has some other upgrade available for us. And we just got to find out what it is. We got to ask what it is. And so the 3 reasons you aren't making more money: sabotage, number 1 by far. Number 2, not knowing your anointed brand. Number 3 is not knowing what to do once you are out of sabotage and you do know your anointed brand. And those are the 3 things that we cover in the sales and marketing mentorship. Now, some of you may have heard of it. A lot of you probably haven't, but the sales and marketing mentorship is we see it as, if I look over the years, the last 20 years of coaching, it is a super affordable way to get group coaching with me personally. And so we meet twice a month and we help you in those 3 areas. Now, what happens is you get to a point where you're out of sabotage. You no longer have sabotage. And we saw this with, I don't know if she's on today or not, but our good friend Lynn Avey. Lynn, she struggled in her home business for 26 years. She joined our sales and marketing mentorship, and she joined 50 other coaching things too. But she joined the sales and marketing mentorship. We dug into her sabotage, and we found that there was some agreements and some lies that she was believing. We prayed about those. We helped her get rid of those. And the next month, she hits diamond in her company. And so some of you would see massive upgrade just getting out of sabotage, right? But for most, you need to get out of sabotage, number 1, then figure out, okay, what brand am I walking in? And then what to do. And those are the 3 things. Those are the only 3 things that we cover in the sales and marketing mentorship. And so if you would like to learn more about that, and it's not for everyone, it's a serious investment. It's no joke. It's our most affordable group coaching I've ever done, but it's still a serious investment. And so if you'd like to learn more about that, you can. And by the way, whether you ever join it or not, understanding and being aware of these 3 reasons could help you, whether you do it or not. Okay. And so if you'd like to learn more about that, you can at higdongroup.com/SAMM. It's 2 M's. higdongroup.com/SAM. And we just have a blast. We meet twice a month. I love it. It is so much fun. And we'd love to see you in there. If you're struggling with sabotage, or what brand are you supposed to be building and what do you do with that brand, we can definitely help you on that. And so God bless you and your family. If you want to check it out, you can at higdongroup.com/SAMM. And I'll talk to you. Bye for now.